Hey, friends.
Welcome to Leave Me Alone. I'm working on it. I'm Ore.
I'm Cassie J.
I'm always proud of you. You know this.
Oh,
But
thanks.
but you're wearing color.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, okay, fine.
Wow. Oh, thanks.
I
And then
thought
I say why I'm actually proud. And she's like, oh, right. Doesn't count.
I keep it pushing, whatever.
Why are
But
you
thank you.
discounting my pride in
No,
you?
I'm not discounting your pride in me. I'm just like, I mean, okay, let's try that again.
I mean, you said you were going to
Thanks.
you
I'm
said you wanted
so
to start
grateful.
trying to wear
I
color and
did.
you
I
are
did.
doing it.
Thank you.
So
I'm
like
following through
in
on my
your words,
commitment.
10 points for Gryffindor.
Thank you. I accept my 10 points for Gryffindor. Yes, I did. I said leave me alone, I'm working on it, and I am working on it. So there you go.
We can close up shop now. We can go home. Leave me alone can
We can
end.
go. Wow. Wow. The sole goal was to get me to wear color. My goodness.
No, it was to get you to work on things and me. Like we're working on
Fair.
it. So mission
Working
accomplished.
on
We can go
everything.
home. Have you seen I want to say uproar, but I don't know if that's the right term right now. But have you
Okay.
seen the Sky Jackson
No.
news thing? Oh, okay. I'm not going to get into it.
Well, what's the tea?
There's no it's not tea. It was me just wanting to be like, can everyone just chill out and leave her alone? But
Firstly,
you know who
who
she
is
is.
Sky
Oh
Jackson?
boy. Okay.
And just
Disney
quickly,
Disney sweetheart. Former Disney, I think.
there are so many Disney sweethearts.
Yes, but you know this one. Once you see the picture, you'll be like, "Oh, I know this hun."
Oh,
See?
I
There
know
we
this
go.
one
There we
from
go. You see?
Jessie.
You
Yeah.
see.
Yes. Okay.
Well,
What happened?
no, nothing happened. She's expecting a child
Oh,
with her baby daddy,
congratulations.
right? That's the right
Yeah.
response. And then we keep it pushing, isn't it? But like people are upset because the guy just doesn't seem to have it together. He said some mean
Oh,
things like he wishes he never got her pregnant.
oh
He doesn't seem
gosh.
responsible. People are just like they feel like he they feel like he's not good
Well,
enough for
he
her.
just got arrested like an
I
hour
know.
ago.
It's not a new thing. It's not even the first time. Because apparently well, I didn't really follow the story, but I think they got together and is it prison piling him? That one. People are just like, girl, what are you doing? Like,
Oh gosh,
you
he
deserve
does
so much
not.
better.
Based on the headlines, I mean, I don't know more than what I'm reading right now, but
But
it
I'm
sounds
just
like he's
like,
done some not so great things.
I agree, fully agree. My thing and why I brought it up is there's no point dragging her about this. Because people are now dragging her and like, why would she have a baby with this man? Why is she with this man?
Mm.
I'm just like, can you all just chill? Like, homegirl is pregnant. Her baby daddy's in jail. She's probably got a lot of things going on. She doesn't
Sorry,
need your
I'm
two
not
cents.
laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm not
You
laughing.
totally are laughing. Why
I'm
are
just,
you laughing, by
I'm
the way?
laughing because the way you unpack that, like she's going through so much. Like she's pregnant, her boyfriend is in jail. Like
I
I'm like,
mean, she is going through so much. Leave the Han alone. You know?
shame. Leave
Find
her
another
alone. Look,
story.
the other thing with like babies is sometimes they are mistakes. And now you're trapped with the person and but it is also, one of those like, well, if it's not the consequences
Are
of
you
my
helping the
actions moments.
situation? She goes,
I'm saying
sometimes
like
babies are a mistake.
sometimes babies happen. No, what I'm saying is sometimes babies happen. Like you thought you were being safe, you're not being safe. I don't know, whatever. There's now a baby. My point is that how we got here no longer matters. The fact
Matters,
is
yeah.
we are
We're
here now.
here. Yeah.
Let's push through. Let's get through
Yeah.
it. Let's
Yeah.
survive it. Whatever needs to happen, it's done now. There's no point in sitting going, oh, but why? And
Yeah. Because
it's done.
people are
It's
like, oh,
done.
she's ruining her life. And some
There's
people are
a
like,
baby
what's
on the
gonna
way.
I'm
Deal.
just like, she's already dealing with so much. You people dragging out her career that people are now going through to be like, oh, her career already ended, so it's fine. She could, and I'm just like, leave the girl alone. She's going through so much. She doesn't need this added. Like babies are a lot of work. A lot
Yes.
of work.
They are a lot of work.
And that actually leads me to this video I saw on Instagram, TikTok, I don't know. Um, and it involves babies. Well, a baby that cried so much, so loudly, so frequently that the neighbor got upset. So in this video, this video is from like, I don't know, months ago. This this mom, I think it's somewhere in England because of the accent. So this nurse, this neighbor, walks up to her neighbor's door. Now we don't see the neighbor in the video because it's her door cam. So we just see the neighbor. So I'm gonna call the neighbor Karen because that's the vibe I was getting. And I'm gonna call mom. Let's call mom Molly. So Karen rings Molly's doorbell and says to Molly, oh, that can you please get your baby to stop crying? Like I worked nights and I need to go to sleep and I can hear him. I can't go to sleep.
Oh,
And the
gee,
baby
if only
is
it was that
still
easy.
right. And obviously you can't see the mom, but you can hear her and she sounds frazzled. She sounds desperate. And she's just like,
Mm,
"Well, I'm doing everything I can. It's not like I can just tell the baby to stop crying, like she's obvious she's she sounds like she's at her wits end as well. She's not yelling,
same.
but she's just like, I don't
Like,
know
what do
what
you
you
want
want
me
me
to
to do."
do? What do
And
you want me
and
to do?
and the lady's basically saying, "Well, I've worked nights and he's been crying. I'm exhausted. I want
You
to go
think
to
Molly's
sleep."
not exhausted?
Right? And then she just, "Can you please stop your baby from crying? I've just done a full night shift and I really need some peace and quiet and to go to sleep." So then mom goes, "I can't believe you're asking me to ask my baby to stop crying. Do you understand how newborns work?" And then she goes, "It's not like they have an on or off button that I can switch on or off to be
Of
like, stop
course.
crying." And this one's like, the Karen responds, "Yeah, but he's been crying all day and I need to go to sleep. I completely get you." This is what pissed me off. She goes, "I completely get you. From one mom to another, I
No, no,
understand that
ma'am.
babies cry." And then she
No,
goes,
ma'am.
"My son is 5 years old now, but even when he was a baby, he didn't cry this much." And mom is just like, "Well, babies are different. Like, it's not like it's within my, and
Shame.
mom keeps saying, "I'm trying my best. I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing everything I
Shame.
can, but I don't," and the baby's still crying. Like in the video, you can still hear. And it just goes on and on. The woman's like, "I've just done 5 nights in a row. I want to go to sleep. I'm exhausted. La la la." And mom is just like,
What do you want from me?
"I'm doing everything that I can." And I was just like, to be fair, the person I'm calling a Karen, she asked nicely. But
Hmm.
my thing here is,
Listen, I can ask nicely for someone to make $1 billion deposit into my account. It doesn't mean it's gonna happen. Like
I'm
the
just
point here isn't that how you're asking. The issue here is what you are asking. You are asking something that is completely outside of her control. My other issue with this Karen, because it is a Karen-like moment, but like my
mm,
other issue is that you are asking her something that she probably is already feeling like so much shame about as it is. Like, I
yeah.
cannot get my baby to stop crying. She's probably asking the questions like, am I a good asking herself questions, am I a good mom?
Am
Can
I
I
a
do
bad
this?
mom? Yeah.
What am I failing at? Why can't I get this right? Why does my baby not like me? Like, there's nothing you can say to this mom in this moment that she hasn't said to herself. So like,
Mm,
so for me, I'm like, this question is, it's not even ridiculous. It's cruel. It's unnecessary.
yeah.
There's nothing she can do. The baby is crying. The baby is crying. The other thing that pisses me off is that you're a mom.
You know,
You
you've been
know.
through this.
You've been through this. And okay, fine. You had an angelic child. Congratulations. 10 points for Gryffindor for you. But
You don't get
like,
to choose what baby you're going to get, you
you
know?
don't get exactly,
The baby
exactly.
arrives and then you deal with it. I felt like
And
it
like,
was
don't get
very
me wrong.
insensitive.
I've been on a plane where there was a baby that was
Oh
crying
God.
and it was
Yeah.
overnight. And it's difficult and it's horrible. And it didn't mean that my experience was not a positive one. But there was definitely, despite my frustration, there was a
Mm.
moment where I was going, this poor mom who was walking up and down the aisle, patting her child, even she is
Mm.
going, I am keeping, 55 people awake right now. And
Yeah.
she knows. Like she knows. She is aware. It's not helpful in that moment to go, excuse me, ma'am, can you get your baby to stop crying?
Yeah.
Plug your earphones in.
Plug it in.
Make it work. Find a plan. I don't
Because
know.
I
Wow.
I feel like it's insensitive. I also feel like collectively as a society, once it comes to like babies and childbirth, we forget that that's how humanity is sustained, and we make it
Mm,
the mom's problem, the woman's problem.
mm,
Like the
mm,
woman got pregnant, you decided to get pregnant,
mm.
so why are you now asking for maternity leave? You decided, because in the comments people were like, she decided to have a baby, she should figure out how to make the baby to stop crying. you know
What?
no, I'm not kidding. People were like, I'm with the neighbor here, why is her baby crying so much? And some other moms were like, the baby could be colicky, you don't know. And people were like, yeah, go to the
Mm,
doctor. And one woman's like, yeah, you go to the doctor, it's not going to change overnight, it's not going to
anything.
fix it
Yeah.
overnight, like it's going to take
Mm.
time. And for me it's just that, because the whole thing here is, oh, but she asked nicely. You're still the
So
asshole here,
what?
ask nicely or not. This
So
is still
what?
you. I'm like, and to your point, Cass, we've all been in situations where a crying baby has gotten on our last nerve.
Yeah.
Like you want to throw something.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
put your earplugs in, you play your music, or you watch a movie, or if you can, you leave the environment or whatever. Like you make a plan, because it's not like she's doing it intentionally. Even
Exactly.
the baby, it's not like the baby is crying intentionally. Where do you get off telling her to make her baby stop? What do you think she's doing? I'm just like, so I think for me, I'm like, I got upset with this story because what I wanted to talk about today, I was like, so what I titled it is, am I the asshole or did I ask nicely? Because there's times where you just find yourself in like a situation that's
Fair.
uncomfortable, and you're
This is
like,
actually a good question.
yeah, am I the asshole or did I ask nicely? Like you're
Mm,
uncomfortable and you want to speak
mm,
out because it's a public space and you're allowed to stand up for yourself or whatever. But like, at
mm,
what point are you speaking up for yourself and asking nicely? And at what point are you just crossing the line into insensitive? And like, that's kind of
mm.
what I feel like was happening here. And I don't know, like, what would have been the better thing to do? Because, like, you can't sleep. You've worked 5 nights. You know, as a mom, that this mom is struggling. What would have been the
I don't know.
solution here?
For me, I'm like earplugs. Okay, pop in some earplugs. Get a white noise machine. Pop a melatonin. Um, like for me, there's go sleep at a friend. I'm like there's there's there were many options that could have happened before knocking on the door and asking his mom, because it's not even like you came over and were like, are you okay?
Mm,
Is if baby has been crying for a while, like, are you okay? Do you need help?
yeah.
Like maybe there's something going on. And you can, I don't know, maybe mom just needs a moment to herself to take a shower and the baby can smell that mom stinks. I don't know. And this is what's upsetting mom. I'm making it up. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
maybe there's just some help that's needed. Is Molly a single mom? Do we know?
I don't know. I don't know. I've got no context beyond,
Got it. Okay.
what I've said here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for me, I'm just like,
I'm just
having
like
a
yeah, yeah.
there's
There's
many
many
things
things
you
she could
can
have done.
do, but having a baby, I think I'm just really upset with this idea that having a baby is a mom's problem. Like you decided to have a child. Because I'm like, we've seen the movies. If all of the women decide to stop having babies, guess what happens to humanity? Because you people haven't figured out how to make a baby completely without a woman's egg and outside of a woman yet. I mean, there's progress, but we're not there yet. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I'm with
and
you.
everyone forgets that at some point you were the crying baby that was pissing everybody
Yeah.
off on the plane. It
Yeah.
was
For
you.
sure.
Your mom
For
was stressed
sure.
out because she couldn't get you to shut up. But then we treat
Mm.
moms like you're doing something wrong. This is the consequences of your actions, and you can't even
Mm.
manage it,
Mm.
And
Sure.
I saw this comment where this woman was like, she lives in Sweden. God bless the people who live in Sweden. Because she said on her street, when it happened, I think for her, the neighbors brought her flowers, brought her food when her
Do
baby
you
wouldn't stop crying,
see?
offered help. How can we help make it stop? Like, what can we do?
Exactly. What
How
can we
can we
do?
support? And even though it didn't fix the problem immediately, but at least it lifted a little bit of the weight off of her. And she didn't feel so guilty because
Yeah.
you're adding in the guilt of she knows her baby's crying. She
She
knows people can't
knows.
sleep. She knows. She was like, it took that a little bit away from her and allowed her to just focus on, getting the baby comfortable enough to go back to sleep. So I
Mm.
think that a little bit more. I fully stand with you. Stand for yourself, speak up for your rights, all of that stuff.
Mm.
But do it with a little bit of compassion
And
because
a little bit of
Haibo and a
sensitivity.
little bit of
Yeah.
sensitivity.
Yeah.
Anyway, that leads me to my second story. But this one I'm going to
Mm.
read because this one's a proper Am I the Asshole story. And it is
Okay.
still someone sticking up for themselves, but we'll decide whether or not they should have done what they did. Okay. So it says, "Am I the asshole for asking my coworker not to eat her cultural food in the break room?"
I
Had me
see
at
where this
cultural
is
food.
going. I see where this is
Had me at
going. What a
cultural food.
problem.
So she goes, "I know how the title sounds, and I'm sure as you begin reading this post, it'll sound worse, but please hear me out." Okay, girl. I, 25 female, have a wonderful coworker, 54 female, who I get along really well with. This coworker is Nepalese and I'm a white woman. In the past, she's been kind enough to bring in different food from her culture for us to try. I have zero problem with her or anyone else. Cassie's face.
I'm like, I'm
I
like,
haven't even
do you know what?
started the story.
Do you know what's funny is that like in my mind, I'm just like, keep an open mind, keep an open mind, keep an open mind. Like
Your
everything you're
face
saying now,
is
I've already
not.
decided. I've already decided. So I'm like, wait, wait, wait. Open your mind. Open your
Calm
mind.
down. Open your
Hmm.
mind. Calm down.
Open my mind. I'm opening. My mind is open.
Says, I have zero problem with her or anyone else bringing in food from their culture. And I really enjoyed some of the dishes and sweets she's brought in. My workplace has lots of different cultures, and I usually don't care what anyone brings to lunch, at least until this situation. A couple of weeks ago, I noticed a horrible smell in the break room that was incredibly strong. It was
Mm.
kind of like if you farted into a sweaty sock and stuck it to
Oh
your
my
face.
gosh. Oh my
It was
gosh.
honestly
Oh
inescapable
my
within the
gosh.
room.
What a description. Bloody hell.
Can you calm down?
I'm just like,
Um,
if you farted into a sock and stuck it on your face. What?
10 points for being descriptive because now we get it. We get it. It was bad. Um,
Or she's being dramatic, but okay.
well,
Hmm.
okay, fair enough. But no, it will reveal itself. It was honestly inescapable within the room, even after I changed the rubbish bin. I didn't know what it was, but ended up going outside and eating in my car. I figured it was just a one off, but every few days I'd smell it again. I genuinely had no idea where it was coming from. And so during this time, I just ate outside the building or in my car. However, one day
Oh
I
no.
walked in and it was somehow even stronger. This day happened to be a day I had the same break as my coworker, who she's calling Jane. I noticed she was eating a fruit and realized that's where the smell was coming
From this fruit.
from the fruit. I asked what she was eating and she told me it was called durian. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Durian.
Hmm. I looked it
Okay.
up. And she had only recently found a good market for them. I said I was glad she was enjoying it, but mentioned that its smell was quite overpowering and left the room smelling afterwards. I asked her if she wouldn't mind eating it at home or going outside as the smell really lingers in the staff room. She said she never really noticed the smell, but would do her best to do so. She seemed a bit annoyed, but hasn't brought it into the break room since. I was talking with a friend about this who's also white, and she said I was behaving in a racist way and that it was wrong for me to police her cultural food. I argued that it
Cultural
wasn't a
food.
cultural thing. I know. What the hell is a cultural food,
I don't
guys?
know. I don't know. Food is food, but
Tell me
okay,
you're
we keep
white
it
without
moving.
telling me you're white.
I
Cultural
know.
food.
Cultural food.
I
Anyway,
argued that it wasn't a cultural thing, and I would have done the same if someone was microwaving fish or another smelly food. This has caused a debate, and she says what I did was offensive. I still think I'm right, but I'm starting to question my views. So, am I the asshole? For
Look,
someone who had such a strong opinion before the story even landed, I love the quiet.
I think for me, the thing that's going through my mind is what would I do in this situation? What would I do? Okay. And I can be quite confrontational if I feel convicted in that I'm right. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? If I feel like
Yeah.
I'm right, I can be like, hey, and be very open and confrontational. So I'm just like, what would I do in this moment? I just feel like for me, I would avoid the staff room. Homegirl is eating her fruit. She's really happy with her fruit. Do I need to be in the staff room? Could I enjoy my meal somewhere else and avoid the smell? Like, is that something that's possible? If it was a smell that was permeating the whole office and everyone is now like, can't focus and can't concentrate, we'd maybe be like, Ibo Jane, listen, you are entitled to your cultural food.
Oh God,
Okay.
that annoys me.
It annoys
I'm
me as well.
subtracting
Okay.
points for that. Cultural
Yeah, me too.
food.
Me too. Me too. Okay. You might be entitled to your quote unquote cultural food, okay? But all of us are really struggling. For me, what I didn't hear in this story was anyone else who had a problem. Nobody else seems to have an issue. Like,
Fair
it's just
point.
you, babes. What's her
That's
name?
a fair point.
Like, I don't know. It's just you. So there's a part of me that's also like, was it that bad or are you being unnecessary? You ate in your car, go eat in your car because everybody else is fine.
But context. Context about this durian fruit. Because I went to do some reading.
Okay, tell me.
Apparently, that thing stinks.
Okay.
The universal consensus is that thing,
It
it is
smells bad.
not a good time. First of all, I'm like, if it smells that bad, why are you people eating it? But apparently, in countries like Singapore, from what I've seen online, it's banned in public places. Hotels won't serve
What?
it. Restaurants won't serve it. You're not
What?
allowed to eat it on the bus. You're not allowed to eat it in public because it smells so bad. So I scrolled and I saw this comment. This person
Okay,
was like,
but
first of all,
this
Jane.
is important context.
Exactly, but she doesn't know that because she didn't even know this fruit. I mean, the girl who wrote the
No, what
story.
I'm saying, it's important context in establishing whether or not she's an asshole or not.
I,
If there are countries that have made it law not to eat it in public, then okay, we must have a conversation.
this is so. Someone responded to be like, first of all, Jane, who brought the fruit to work, cannot sit there and pretend she doesn't know it stinks.
Okay.
Everybody who eats this thing knows that it stinks, and so people eat it at home because it's like it really does. It really does. So my first of all, I was relieved that it was fruit and not like a cooked meal because I was just like, oh, this is dangerous territory, right? But then I find out it's
Mm,
fruit, and then I find out it's fruit that is even known, popularly known for how bad it smells.
how
Come
bad
on,
it
Jane.
smells.
Jane, what are you doing? This is a workplace. It's a public place. It's as bad as
Got
bringing fish to
it.
work. And so I was also asking myself, like, what would I do? And I actually decided to relate it to something I'm familiar with. So
Okay.
in in Nigeria or in Yoruba cooking, there's something called iru.
I
Don't ask
know
me.
this.
Oh, you do?
I do. I'll tell you why. Because someone used to bring it to the office
There you go. I
and they
don't
would
know
put it
what
in
the
the
English
microwave.
name for iru
Yeah.
is, but it's
Mm.
like it's something you use to you. It's more like a seasoning. Like you add it to soups and stuff. You don't eat it by
Uh-huh.
itself. But let me tell you, as a proud, proud Nigerian Yoruba girl, that thing stinks. That thing stinks. That thing stinks in all its forms, cooked or uncooked. If you walk into a room with that thing, everybody and their grandma knows you
Does
have
it
walked in a
taste
room.
good?
Not to me. I don't understand what it adds to soups, but my
Got
mom
it.
and them use it. I don't use it because I've never really understood that it added anything except the stink. But I'm like, imagine I now, because I've heard people getting on planes with this thing. And I'm like, yo, it's going to be a rough time for everyone in that cabin because of how badly it smells. So imagine, I'm now imagining me going to work, and I'm Yoruba, so I even know what it is. Me going to work, I wanted to have my lunch in the break room, and someone is warming Iru, or someone has brought it to work with them for whatever reason. Even me, I'd be like, my guy, public space. What are you doing?
So someone came I think it was Iru, but like someone came to the office for a week straight
Oh,
with this
you.
and would put their meal in the microwave so it would get nice and toasty, and then instead of eating in the break room would carry it with
Oh,
them
God, to their
to
desk.
their desk and then
Oh.
eat at their desk while they continue to work. And like, I remember this person walked past me once with it, and I was like, look, even me, I was like, woo, okay, cool,
Yeah.
as long as you're happy. But then when for me, I was just like, so literally being in the space, and this person's desk was like a row or two away from me.
Mm.
But it was only when I was very close that I could smell it. And I just
Yeah.
then was like at lunchtime, I just didn't go close by to this person until they
Mm.
had finished their meal. But for me, it didn't feel right to go to them and say,
Your food stinks.
your food stinks. Like there was no part like and it didn't smell good. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, wow. But like it didn't feel right to me to go to them and be like, your food
Yeah.
does not smell good. Please stop
Yeah.
eating it. Or go and eat it outside. Or, like that option didn't even occur to me. What I did is I just removed myself from the situation.
From
I was like, we will talk after your lunch. It's fine. you know, and they were happy. I was happy. Done. Khalas.
I don't.
It's
So are you
done.
saying that she's the asshole? That she shouldn't have done it?
What I'm saying is that without the context of it being banned by countries in public, because that's excessive. But then again, Singapore, I will go into my thoughts
Exactly.
on
I'm like, then again,
Singapore
it's
another
Singapore,
day.
so
I will go into my thoughts on Singapore another day. I have very
it's
strong feelings
we know.
about
Well, I
Singapore,
know. I know.
Singapore as a
Doesn't
country.
like that country,
But
and that country does not like her right back. It's fine.
no,
It's
we do
mutual.
not have a good relationship, Singapore and I. Bloody hell, I hate that place. Okay.
And I had a
But
good time, so I don't know why you're
yeah,
bitching about
you
this.
had you had an amazing time. Or I came back, she was like, I love Singapore. This is
I live my
great. And I
crazy rich Asians
went
dream.
yeah, you did. You did. And I remember the first time that I was going, I was like, yeah, okay, fine. I'm open. I will do all the things. Just absolutely hated it. It was the worst. The second time I went, I was like, maybe it was just that first time. Nope. Terrible, terrible time. The third time, I literally ended up in the hospital. I just am like, Singapore and I, we're fighting. Okay, so that's that. But all jokes aside, like I'm just saying, like if there are places that have banned it, that's
Mhm.
important context. That's really important context.
Does it change anything though? Just because places have banned it, we're not in a place that has banned it. Like I don't know what
We're
country
not
they're
in the
in,
place. We're not in the
but
place that has banned it. But what I'm saying is that like if it is so overwhelming and so overpowering that even the culture
mm,
where it is from is like,
mm,
whoa, 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 then Jane should also maybe be like, she should know.
yeah, I I don't think she's the asshole because what she did is the right thing to do. It is a shared space. Everyone needs to be able to feel welcome in the space. I just don't know that I could do it.
I also don't think I would do it.
I don't know if I
Again,
could
it
do it.
depends on how bad it smells. I mean, she literally
Exactly.
described it as a fart in a sock on your face, which
I think she
sounds awful.
I think she handled it nicely.
Yeah.
I don't know that she's the asshole. I think my beef is actually with Jane and with people who do those
Mm,
kinds of things. Now, the difference between this story, because both stories are people who are speaking up for being inconvenienced in shared spaces, right? The first
mm,
story was the mom and the baby, and in the neighborhood, we can all hear your baby crying, which is
mm,
wild. This
mm.
one, it's like this is a workspace. We can all smell this foul thing. It's not a good time. For me, I feel like the difference here is the mom can't do, there's very little she can do about her baby crying. She can do
Mm,
everything, and that baby can still decide
mm.
not to
And
cry.
still decide, yeah.
Auntie Jane, just eat your durian at home now. It's not even that hard. Nobody's saying you should not eat it.
Just eat, yeah, for
Eat it at
sure.
home. You
For
know
sure.
it
Eat it at
stinks.
home by
Like
yourself. You know it stinks.
don't put other people in the situation where they now don't know if they can say what they need to say. If they're like don't do it. It's a shared space.
Mm,
So I think that for both things, it's like, because if the question and if the point of this episode is, when is it okay to speak out when you're being inconvenienced in a shared space, right? I feel like a good guidance would be, if the person who's inconveniencing you can do something about it, then you
yeah.
should speak up nicely,
Yeah.
politely. If there's
Yeah.
nothing to be done and you can't remove yourself from the space, improvise, figure it
Let it
out,
go, figure it
let
out.
it go. Like, if bringing it up is not going to change anything other than cause more tension, maybe just let it go. But if there is something that could be done, if there is a fix, even if it's not a fix the other person might like or enjoy, you should speak out. So funny to say, I support, I don't even know what this Hun's name is. She did the right thing. Jane, eat your fruit at home. Eat your iru at home.
Maybe eat it at home. Maybe eat it at home. Yeah, sure. For me, I'm just like, for me, what's going through my mind is the fact that like there's a country that has banned it is enough for me to be like, oh wow, this is definitely worth bringing it up. Because short of smelling
Yeah.
it for myself and then making a determination
I
on whether
really want to
something
go out
needs to
and
be
buy
said,
one.
I'm very curious. I will not lie. I'm very curious. But it does sound like there is a very, very gray line here. And I don't
Yeah.
think she's the asshole. I
I
don't think
don't
she's an
think she's the
asshole.
asshole either.
Yeah.
I don't at all. At
Yeah.
all. Okay. This
Yeah.
last one isn't, well, it is still shared spaces, but so they're neighbors and they've got like their balconies are back to back, sort
Joined.
of.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
join.
Mm.
It's a bit of a long read. I'm gonna just tell you the story.
Okay.
So this woman is she's Polish and her husband is Spanish and Polish. And according to her, I know Spanish, but don't really know what Polish sounds like. She's like, when they're speaking their languages, it does sound a bit aggressive, but it's just
Okay.
like the languages are harsh. So they
Yeah,
speak Polish quite a bit.
it's like Arabic sometimes. Sometimes Arabic sounds like super aggressive, but
Yeah, super aggressive.
I love you. Like but like it sounds like they're yelling at each other.
So she's like, her and her husband, they often speak in Polish, and it often sounds like they're being aggressive or they're yelling. But meanwhile, they're actually just chatting and having a good time. They've
Yeah.
got a neighbor and they like to chat and have their balcony door open and just have chats, Their neighbor walked up to her one day to be like, "Oh my God, are you okay? He sounded really aggressive. Are you okay
Oh.
with all of the fighting?" And she's like, "We're not fighting. We're just talking. It's just how the language sounds." And the one's like, "No, you shouldn't cover for him, la la la." And she's like,
Oh
"I'm being
gosh.
100% with you.
Oh no. I
We're
don't know
not
what to do
fighting.
here.
We're not fighting." And then she's like, um a couple of weeks go by or a couple of days go by, I don't know. And then they were chatting and all of that stuff. And after this first time, she was like, she and her husband were like, maybe they need to just talk a bit quieter, like not get so excited when they're chatting so that it doesn't sound like they're being aggressive. So they're in their house, they're chatting around, joking around when they hear a knock on the door and police officers are standing out
Oh
there.
my God.
Someone had called a wellness check for her, saying that her husband's always yelling at her and always fighting with her. And they took him aside and took her aside to speak to them. And she was like, it was so humiliating. And we kept trying to explain, we're not fighting. It's just the way the language sounds.
Oh gosh.
The next day, the neighbor approached her again and said that no, she can't lie about it, that they really are arguing, that she knows what she's hearing, but they're not speaking English, mind you. And then she told the neighbor, look, to stop worrying about her, that they're fine and they're just chatting. And the neighbor says to her, well, maybe she'd stop worrying if they switched to English and she could actually hear what they're saying.
Oy, oy,
So then
oy,
she'd know
oy,
everything is
oy.
okay.
Oy vey. Okay.
Then the following night, she posts a recording on the neighborhood group of the two of them talking, of her husband and her talking in Polish.
Okay,
And
so why
says
didn't you Google Translate it?
she posted on the group and says that she believes that the woman is in danger and she doesn't know what to do to help her. Now, people were agreeing and whatever, until someone on the group who understood Polish responds to be like, they're not fighting. They're literally having a chat, like they're having a good time. And then told her to mind her business and leave them alone. She got upset about this and confronted the woman and said, why did she make her look like a fool? Like, why can't they just speak English in
Oh
public
my
places so that she can know
gosh.
that she's okay? She goes, I'm confused. Like, my neighbor is furious with me and I'm really, really confused. Should I have switched to English just to
No,
avoid the whole situation?
no,
Like, it
no,
would have been an
girl.
easy fix. Am I the asshole
No,
for confusing her? So,
no, no, no. You speak whatever language you want in your own home. In your own home? Babes, be comfortable, be free. This woman has made a decision for herself on what it is that she wants, and she wants to be some savior and some hero. And she's spending too much time on TikTok and Instagram and watching crazy stories of people who are
right?
trapped and whatever, and now feels this obligation that she's put on herself, despite there being a wellness check, despite her checking in on you, despite
Why
her reaching
was
out to
there a
multiple
wellness
people.
check? Why was there a wellness check? That's the part I don't get.
For me, I'm like, so for me,
You didn't
for
hear any
me,
sounds of violence. You didn't
you
hear anything
didn't,
being thrown against the wall. You didn't hear
fair.
screaming or crying. You just hear loud voices in a foreign language. And you can hear both voices. It's not like you can only hear one voice. So I'm
Fair.
like, I know you want to be a savior really, really bad, but like, I'm gonna need you to calm down. Why was there a wellness check? And then
So,
you saying to me that we should have switched to English so that you can know I'm okay. Huh?
yeah. I this lady also has too much time. That's also my
Yes,
takeaway here. Like, you've
absolutely.
definitely got too much time. If you've got enough time to obsess about this, record it, post it on a group, like all of these things. Now, the difficulty here is that, like, we've got to, well, we've not that we've got to, I want to believe that it's coming from a good place. Like, she's concerned and she's wants to check in. And maybe one day there's going to be a time where someone does need help, and you need someone like this who is like not going to let it go until help is gotten, you know? But I think that there was enough evidence to point to the contrary, you know?
Mm.
Like she is telling you she's okay, okay? Then you call the police. And now the police are telling you that she's okay. And then, shame, okay, fine. You still don't doubt. So you record, you put on a group, and someone's like, actually, you're fine. Leave them alone. Your response in that moment should be relief, because your desire to be like
If
savior was not
if that
needed.
was your desire,
If
yes.
that truly was your desire, that you're not
Yeah.
needed. You should feel relieved and you should be like, sure. And then go and say, I'm so sorry. Like, I really was
Yeah.
coming from a place of care and concern. Someone has said, and I know you said it, and I'm sorry that I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. You know, like,
Yeah.
and then leave it at that. That's actually what should have happened. So I recognize the care. I recognize the desire for the desire to help out. Okay, 10 points for Gryffindor. But all the evidence was presented to you. You
Yeah.
should come tail between your legs and be like, my bad.
I feel like if her issue was just the noise complaint, maybe I'd be with her. Because if your balconies are so close to each other and they like to like sit on the balcony and chat, or they like to leave the balcony doors open and then they're speaking so loudly and now you can hear. If the issue was the noise complaint, I think I'd be with her to be like, yeah, you can.
Mm.
If your neighbors are making way too much noise, the neighborly thing, you can be like, guys, can you keep it down or whatever? Like we've all had this issue. We've
Yeah.
all said this to our
Yeah.
neighbors and gotten along. Everything was fine. But just because you can hear them over a shared public space does not give you
Yeah.
the right to tell them that they need to speak in a language you understand so
You
that you can
understand.
feel that everything is okay.
Wild.
Mind
Wild.
your business.
Wild.
And to Cassie's
Wild.
point, if you really did want to help and you recorded it, why not Google Translate? Like, what does this mean?
So Google Translate it.
Or
Yeah.
find someone who
Technology is your
understands
friend.
or something. Yeah, if you're really
Yeah.
really concerned, why not just try to understand what's being said so that you can be like, okay, yes, she said they're fine, and I've translated what they're saying. They're fine. Moving on. I feel like it was beyond that. So, ma'am, you are the asshole. I'm so sorry. You read no. Oh wait, no, you're not the asshole because the
No,
story,
you're
the
not. The story
author,
was from the
yeah,
yes.
your
She's not. She's
neighbor is the
definitely not the
asshole.
asshole. Your neighbor is the asshole. Neighbor
You
is
do
the
you.
asshole in this story. You do
Not at
you,
all,
and
because it's
also
in your home.
do not change the language you're speaking
Speak
with your
whatever
husband
language you
in
want
your
to
own
speak.
home.
Yeah.
Please, for goodness sake, be free. My word, the audacity of that ask at
I
all
know.
is
Yo,
shocking.
I feel like we all need to be a bit more considerate of each other in public spaces because it can get very annoying, on buses
Mm.
and in the mall and whatever, whatever. But even when you want to speak out for yourselves, just make sure that the request is not absurd. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not asking someone to
Mm.
do something they cannot do. Remove
Mm.
yourself instead. You take a walk. You go
Yeah,
away.
for sure.
So anyway, that's these are just stories I saw. The baby one was what took me down this because I was like, what's the right thing to do here? And honestly, I was shocked by the comments. I was shocked.
Mm.
Shooketh because I'm like, guys. But anyway, I think what I'm basically saying today is have some compassion. Have some compassion. Speak up if you need to. Do it politely and nicely. But ultimately, mind your business.
Yep.
And eat your durian
Yep.
and your iru at home. Please and thank
Sure.
you.
Yeah.
Please and thank
Sure.
you. Come share your stories with us. I'm sure that there's people who've had these kind of wild experiences. I especially want to hear the food at work one because that one's
Yeah.
it's a touchy one, and some people just have zero boundaries. They don't know what not to bring to
Yeah.
work. So come share with us on Instagram and on TikTok. And don't forget to like and subscribe on Apple and Spotify and YouTube as well. Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe anywhere and everywhere you find your podcasts. You can also watch and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, love you. Bye.